horror movies. In snapper cases. The other one, just kind of as an aside here, and I know this is a long-time favorite of people, which I had never seen before. I think I might have seen some bits and pieces of it back when it was originally on, but I was too young to stay up late enough to watch it, obviously, and also too young to really be allowed to watch it because it was just too damn scary. I'm, of course, talking about Salem's Lot, the original Salem's Lot from 1979. Now, this DVD edition is the original full-length, uncut, 3-hour miniseries version. The only cut that's been made to it is it's not split into 2 parts. It just has the 2 parts blended together seamlessly into one massive 3-hour movie. Now, I had not seen this before. This was sort of one of the last big classic Stephen King adaptations that I still had yet to see. Actually, mind you, there's still quite a few I still had yet to see. But anyway, the ones from the 70s and 80s. This was one of the big ones that I had missed. So I found this, I think I mentioned this in a bargain bin update a while back. If I remember correctly, I actually found this for $5 in a bargain bin, so can't go wrong there. 3 hours of entertainment for $5, that's pretty sweet. So essentially this is the story of a writer who returns to his hometown, and around the same time that he returns to his hometown, someone else has moved into that town. And that someone else apparently is a vampire. And he started turning some of the townsfolk into vampires. And the townsfolk start turning other people into vampires. Before you know it, the whole frickin' town is overrun with vampires, and he's just trying to survive. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now bear in mind, this is from 1979, and specifically 1979 television, so the pacing is quite slow. The first half of it really takes a while to get moving. But I definitely recommend sticking with it, because the last half of it really picks up steam fast. And the last half hour of it is just so freaking intense, it's great. Great stuff, really enjoyed it. And if you're a vampire fan, fuck Twilight, man. This is what real vampire movies are all about. This is the real deal right here. Vampires are not pretty, androgynous boys who glow in the sunlight. Oh no, they are vicious, evil creatures who only want to rip out your throat and drink you dry. This is vampires the way vampires should be. And I love the visual design of the main vampire in this too. Very much inspired by Nosferatu, one of the all-time great images of pure evil in cinematic history. One thing I should mention about Salem's Lot is in addition to the miniseries version, there was also a cut-down theatrical version. Occasionally they would do that with miniseries, as they would cut them down and maybe add in a couple of boob shots and a little bit more blood and guts, and release it in theaters. They did it with Salem's Lot, they also did it with Shogun. Now Shogun, there was a lot more cut out. They cut it down to essentially a 2-hour movie from a, 12-hour miniseries, something like that. Now, in the case of Salem's Lot, it was 3 hours originally, cut down to about 2 hours for the theatrical version. Now, I have not seen the theatrical version available on DVD, at least not in Region 1. I do believe there is a Region 2 release. Honestly, I don't really care if I ever see the theatrical version, because as far as I know, the only difference is it's just a cut-down version of the miniseries. And given that I now have the miniseries, I really have no desire or need to see a chopped-up version. So, that's that. Now, I should also mention there was, in 2004, I believe, a remake of Salem's Lot. Again, done as a 2-part miniseries, but this time starring Rob Lowe in the main role. This one actually stars David Soul, who is a pretty accomplished actor. And this has quite a cast in it overall. You got David Soul, James Mason, Lance Kerwin, Bonnie Bedelia, Lou Ayres, and that's just the top billed people. There's a lot of other familiar faces in this that I'm sure anybody who's familiar with 70s and 80s movies would recognize. So, Salem's Lot, if you're looking for a good, epic vampire story, and in typical Stephen King fashion, it of course takes place in a small town where evil is lurking. And the first half, while quite slow-paced, has some quite lovely character moments. You will not forget most of the characters in this, which, again, is a staple of Stephen King's stories. Memorable characters. Interesting characters. Well-developed characters. Well, Salem's Lot is all about the frickin' characters. So when they start getting all turned into vampires or just brutally killed in one way or another, you feel kind of bad for them. Well, unless, of course, they were asshole characters that you really wanted to see get what's coming to them. I should also mention that this miniseries was directed by none other than Mr. Tobe Hooper, a name that a lot of horror fans out there will probably recognize instantly. Yes, the same guy who directed the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He also directed the original Poltergeist, and, some of you may not know this, the premiere episode of Freddy's Nightmares, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the series. Go Toby! Which, incidentally, is a TV series I'm really surprised has not got any kind of DVD release yet. I mean, you'd think with the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street this past year, they would have at least put out the first season or something. I mean, come on, it was only 2 seasons, 44 episodes. Put it out as a single set. Yes, it was cheesy as hell, but it wasn't all crap. There was some gold in amongst all the coal. Gold in the coal? Diamonds in the coal. Gold in amongst the copper? Anyway, as much as we hate snapper cases, there's some pretty good entertainment to be found in them, if you know where to look. And chances are you can probably find both of these in the bargain bins now, so hunt around a bit and check them out. Alright, that's it from me to you for now, so until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara. I've seen quite a lot...